Welcome to Hot Sour Sparkles. I'm Stephen Davis.
And I'm Robert Sanders.
And this is a spoiler-free and completely spoiler cast of Doctor Strange. Marvel's Doctor Strange.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So we're going to start off with a spoiler-free section for the first few minutes, and we'll let you know when we move into full spoilers.
Yep.
Which is really what I'm looking for, talking about in general.
Of course, it's so much more fun.
It is.
Rather than talking all cryptic.
All cryptic. Not super cryptic. Just nothing major. No spoilers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. First off, great movie.
Yes, that's all I was going to say. Like, first off, it was an absolutely fantastic movie. In my opinion, one of the best Marvel movies so far.
Yeah, it was definitely for the standalone movies, for sure. It was very enjoyable.
As far as standalone movies, especially origin story movies.
Yeah.
This and Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guardians still is like so high ranked for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Benedict Cumberbatch, perfect casting. Very good.
So good
Yes.
as Doctor Strange. But he's so good in, I feel, everything he plays in.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy Benedict.
And he definitely showed you different layers. Like, you get a lot of development with Doctor Strange in this movie. It starts out, as the, very successful surgeon. And then, as you see in the trailer, gets in the car accident, ruins his hands, and then has to try to find a way to, heal his hands. And it leads him to learning the dark arts.
No, the dark arts. Yes.
The dark arts.
Confused with Harry Potter.
He summons Voldemort. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, Doctor Strange's character was fantastic. Like we said, Benedict Cumberbatch was great. I feel all the characters great. The Ancient One was really good.
Oh gosh, yeah, and a lot of people were up in arms about the fact that they changed her. From the comics, it was an old Chinese guy, and they changed it to Matilda Swindon, and
she did great.
Oh, she was amazing. One of the standout parts of the movie.
I agree.
Sure.
She was really, really good. Every time she was on screen, she was fantastic.
Yeah, and I forget the name of the gentleman who played Baron Mordor, but he was Mordo. Mordor. But no, he was very good. I mean, really solid performances all around.
I think everyone did well.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if there was a weak point in acting or a weak point in just characters, I still feel the villain was the weakest part.
Yeah, and but the thing about this movie is that you know his motives. You know why he's doing what he's doing, and to an extent, you understand it.
Yes.
Yeah, you understand why what he believes in. He thinks is what needs to happen.
Yeah. So, good development.
Yeah.
It starts off really well. We get to learn a lot about Doctor Strange. We get to understand. This was a great introduction to magic into the Marvel Universe.
Yes, definitely. And they pretty much just flat out accept you this is magic.
Yes.
Yeah. This is magic. And how they explain it was very interesting. We'll find out in our spoilers thing. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yes. We'll talk
about it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else we can really talk about.
How about without actually spoiling anything?
And the movie looked phenomenal.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it was shot so well.
Pretty.
Yeah, and it definitely captures that the spirit of the old artwork style from the old comics. Ditko was the artist of the original of those comics back then, and he had this like very unique kaleidoscope type design to his comics and how it looked, and they nailed it. They nailed it in this movie. I mean, it is an acid trip of a movie at times.
I know you had said before we'd gone in, like, I heard that the 3D was really good, and I'm like, I'm never big, and I'm just not a big fan of 3D in general, and even this movie, I'm like, I didn't need it at all. I could have been perfectly fine, and probably enjoyed it maybe more without it. I don't care for the glasses. I've seen very few movies. I'm like, this really helped the movie.
Yeah, it didn't. The 3D, what I feel like is which is terrible standards for 3D, but what I feel like is a success for 3D is when I feel like it doesn't dampen the movie. When I feel like that because I feel like I enjoyed the movie just as much as I would have normally. Because some movies, like for instance, when I saw the first Thor movie, I saw it in 3D, and it was a 3D conversion, like early 3D conversion, and the scenes where he was fighting like the frost giants was so dark that I could barely tell what was going on, and it was just awful. This movie, you don't have that issue.
No, it works fine.
Yeah.
It's just I can be perfectly fine without seeing it in 3D. Yeah. But that's what the first showing IMAX does. Period.
Yeah.
You see it in 3D, or you don't see it,
or you don't see it in IMAX.
Yeah, or you don't see it in IMAX. So I'll accept it. It was it was fun to watch. It has a couple cool 3D moments in it.
Yeah, definitely.
But overall, as far as the spoiler free, it was fantastic. Highly recommend.
Yes, definitely.
If you follow the superhero stuff, it's another great Marvel film.
Yes, indeed.
So, all right. Well, that was only like 6 minutes.
Yeah,
so
that's not too bad.
Not much.
But let's go ahead. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers are happening.
Spoilers are going to happen. We're going to talk about the ending, the villains, the special effects, the characters, everything. So,
everything is about to happen. 3,
mute,
2,
leave, whatever
1.
you need to do.
Now.
Doctor Strange dies in the end.
No,
no, he does not.
No, he doesn't. That would be terrible to me. No.
What do you mean? That would be Batman v Superman.
That would be, but there would be a little bit of cape floating up
cape was
at the end.
Oh, we didn't mention the cape, but I mean, it's kind of spoilery.
Yeah, well, you see him the cape briefly.
Yeah, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
The cape.
In this movie, it's very interesting how they explain. Let's just go back to to the beginning. The car accident is so powerful whenever it happens. Like, he is in this, I assume it's like a Lamborghini. I don't know if my car is.
Yeah, it's a Ferrari or Lamborghini or something.
Very fast car.
Super expensive because he's mega rich, because he's super successful doctor.
He even has where he opens up his drawer. I think you see this in the trailer. Opens up his drawer for his watches.
And they're spinning.
And his watches are spinning.
I said, I'm like, do they need to spin? Why are they spinning?
I was like, that seems very pointless, but super cool. If I had millions of dollars, maybe I would have the spinning watch drawer. But no, whenever the car accident happens, it's brutal. It's a brutal car accident. You feel it. Yeah.
It's just going along, and I knew something was going to happen. Like, of course.
Yeah.
But when it gets hit or how it happens, it's like, it gets super loud, like, oh my god, something's happening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Car flying around, flipping off, and
and you know, before that, I mean, he was such a dick.
Oh, he's a
super dick. Yeah,
he's really just kind of a douche, kind of in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, and so like, because that happens, he has to try to figure out ways to be able to mend his hands, because that's his whole profession. That's his life.
It's his life. Everything he's ever built is around his hands being what they are. Mm-hmm. And after this car accident, they're jacked.
Yeah. Oh no, he's got nerve damage. He's shaking all the time, and then he finds out about a guy from his physician that just all of a sudden was able to walk, and he confronts him. That's where he ends up going to, I forget where he goes.
I don't remember the name of the place that he went to.
Yeah. But he meets the Ancient One, and oh my gosh, she is awesome. Like, that's how the movie starts, as you see the Ancient One.
Since we're reading this spot, it is really funny. I thought it was funny, especially that you mentioned, they changed the Ancient One from an old Asian guy to this white woman.
Yeah.
And the first thing we see is he keeps trying to greet and thank the Ancient One. This old Asian guy.
Yeah.
He tries once, he tries thrice, and then the lady likes taking his coat or giving him tea.
She filled up his tea.
He filled his tea, and he's like, okay. He's like,
it's a pleasure to meet you.
And then he walks off, and she's like, oh. And she said something like, yes, it is.
She was like,
you.
Oh, yes, nice to meet you too.
And it's really funny.
Yeah.
Kind of a nod to what he was originally supposed to be in the comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they changed it.
And how they explain magic is very interesting in this movie. It all has to do with how I think of it, like string theory. There's endless amounts of universes out there, and that they can use their chakra, their spirit, their ki or whatever to tap into these powers from all these other dimensions. And like when she first knocks him out of his body, and then she opens up his third eye. Woo! It is trippy.
It's really trippy.
Yeah, he's floating through space,
and universes.
and through his own eyeball.
He
and
shrinks
stuff.
and goes in his own eye. At one point, his fingers have hands that have hands on the fingers.
Yes.
And it's like, okay.
Oh, it was so
This is
cool.
crazy.
It was so cool. And but anyway, yeah, and so like even some of the items in the movie, like one of the standout characters of the movie was his cape.
It's his cape.
His cape
I didn't
was
expect
so
it at
cool.
all, but it has its own personality.
Yeah.
It's alive in its own way.
The coolest capes in Spawn.
Yes, by
definitely.
far.
And yeah, and how they explain is like that the magical items that they have like channel the powers from other dimensions or something. Like it's like they can't do it themselves, so they put it into these items or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, and it was super neat, super cool, and the reveal of the Aya Bagamoto, which they reveal is the Time Gem. So
Time Gem, yes.
yeah, that was very cool, and yeah. It just had a lot of neat stuff in it.
It did. I really liked, even though they did barely mention it. It's just brief pass. I liked Baron's boots.
Oh yeah, the flight, his little jumpy boots.
I'm not even sure what we call them.
Jumpy boots.
He just barely kicks them and shows them off, but he uses them so many times during the movie.
yeah.
He's just like jumping off air, and it's like,
Yeah, because
these are cool.
Doctor Strange's cape makes it to where he can fly.
It's the flight cape.
Yeah, and it's the feather from Mario, and no, and then Mordor uses his boots to like.
I really liked his boots.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Every time he used them, I'm like, this is really good. I just enjoyed them.
Yeah, that was neat. All the different magical items and how they fight was really cool in the movie too.
That was interesting. The bad guys had their semi-invisible daggers.
Yeah,
that they
their
were creating,
blades that they
and
were
none of the good guys used those at all.
It was like, well, the good guys had their magical like weapons they used, and Doctor Strange really used his like whip thing or something.
And he would do that. And
Yeah.
he would use that, and he was. I
was-
don't know what to call it.
Yeah. It was really neat though.
It was cool. The special effects are astounding in this movie.
It's
They're
phenomenal.
really pretty.
Yeah, and they definitely make this movie stand out compared to a lot of other Marvel. I mean, that's one thing that Marvel is doing so well right now, is that they're not just making superhero movies. They're making vastly different movies that happen to have superheroes in it. It's
This one is very different from most of the other ones, just because of the magic element.
Yeah.
This really completely steps into the magic, and if
Yeah.
you don't like magic, you won't like this movie.
yeah, if you don't like it, if you hated Harry Potter,
Yeah.
and
This might not be the movie for you.
maybe not.
But it's what makes it stand out so much is the magic.
Yes, it was. It was very cool because Marvel has done their best to avoid straight up magic to this point.
They have.
Yeah.
And especially in the beginning of
Yeah.
the first films and everything. Magic was something that they very much stayed away from. It was not mentioned, and they kind of avoided it. Even when they brought Thor in,
Yeah.
they didn't want to call it magic, and
Yeah.
it's like
It was just science.
It's science.
It's just science that we don't
another
understand.
world science.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because if you think about it, if this world has mastered traversing like the universe and exploring everything, it would be just like, you know, like if ancient man saw a rocket ship going through space.
Yes, it's just-
it's magic, it's the gods, it's the chariots, the, you know, like that.
So they avoided the magic.
And like even in what was it, Thor 2, with Jane Smith, whenever they were like using their machine thing to look at the ether inside of her and all that, like she understood what they were doing and she was explaining it in Earthling terms, you know, to them. And I thought that was kind of neat, but no, this one straight up like
We're
very.
We're not
magical.
rationalizing this with science. Not really at all.
Oh, even whenever he first shows up and they start talking to him about it, he's like, this is complete crap. I can't believe I spent my last money getting here. Like, this is awful. And then he has his mind blown almost literally.
Yes,
Yeah, but we haven't talked at all about the bad guy.
No, we haven't.
What was
Oh my.
Celeste?
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
I have it here.
that kind of yeah.
Right.
Let's see here.
Casillas?
Casillas. This is not good.
Casillas? I mean, it's right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very weird spelling.
It starts with a K, ends with an us.
Yes.
But no, don't take our lack of knowing what his name is to mean that he is the worst villain of the Marvel
No, he's
universe.
fine.
He's
fine. He's fine. He's not fantastic. He's not terrible. He's
No.
fine. He does what he needs to do to advance the story.
Yes.
I mean, he's fine.
And like I mentioned earlier, you understand what he's going about because in the movie they explain that there's this dark world that Mephisto. Was it Mephisto? No,
it's Dormammu.
Dormammu. Yeah, Dormammu is like this being in the darkness the darkness world or something that is encompassing other worlds or something like that into his, and then that is what the main bad guy, he wants Dormammu to take the world, because Dormammu wants Earth, and there's these
and he's promising eternal life.
Eternal life, yeah, and that. Yeah, because time doesn't matter where he is, none of that.
There is no time.
There is no time, there's only infinity, no death with him. And the Earth is protected by, the 3 locations?
The 3 locations, which I forget what they called it, but it's basically shielding the planet.
Yes.
And his goals are to take out these 3 locations to unshield the planet so Dormammu can take over the planet.
Yes. And it was pretty, but you understand why because he figured out that the Ancient One is actually tapping into the power of the darkness of that to
stay alive forever.
To stay alive, yeah. And then that makes it Doctor Strange figures it out in the movie that's what she's doing, and that makes Baron Mordo be like, you're breaking the rules. Like,
yes, you're breaking
everything
the rules.
You've told me.
Unfortunately, that was one of these. It's like, buddy, we had to break the rules to save the planet.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's like he's such a stickler for the rules, but. If they would have stuck to the rules and they wouldn't have broke the rules, the planet would have been destroyed. It would have been completely over.
Like we had no choice. We can try to stay by the rules as much as possible.
Yeah.
But in the end, you have to do what you have to do to save everything.
Yeah. I mean, but then, we don't know what his past happened in his past and stuff like that. Maybe the doctrine and everything that he was taught, which he apparently had been at this a lot longer than Doctor Strange, which you can kind of see a little bit of resentment he has towards him that he was able to progress as quickly as he did.
She does.
Yeah, and because he has like a photographic mind, so he can memorize all these books.
Oh, he's constantly going through books. He's constantly learning. We get a really cool little, just 15, 20 minutes of him learning what's going on, how to master his moves, how to start learning magic, it's really cool.
No, it's really awesome. And also I really liked Wong. He was really cool. Definitely needed to be upgraded from the old comics.
He was cool. He was great. They really did a good job with him in this.
I enjoyed him quite a bit. And the main bad guy, he was fine. He was intimidating. I enjoyed him much more as the bad guy from Casino Royale. But
well, that did the villain better. Marvel still they got to step up their villains. They really do. He was fine. He did what he needed to do for this movie.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, I need to have that villain back.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's fine. Stay away. It's all right.
But they also have 2 hours to completely develop the main character, show the Ancient One, show the other people involved, develop a bad guy, get a plot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that needs to happen. It's hard to get everything you need in one movie.
Definitely.
That's why the Netflix TV series do so much better at their villains.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have
so much more time.
10, 12 episodes to develop them.
Yeah. Just like, how awesome would it be to one day see Kingpin in the Marvel movies and stuff?
We won't, unfortunately.
No. I hope we at
They've already said how difficult it would be to I'm getting the points. We're not going to end up getting the Defenders in
Avengers Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah. It'd be so cool.
I would love to see it.
So cool.
I would love to, even if it's like we filmed a 5-minute scene with them kind of away from the other ones doing something in an area that appears in the movie that we filmed way before the movie, but we just have this scene ready.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I think it was Kevin Feige said that he doesn't want to do, is he doesn't want to have them just be a brief, like, doesn't really matter to the movie cameo, because he wants the characters to actually matter to the story, just like how Spider-Man mattered to Civil War.
But they've already said
Black
how
Panther
difficult
mattered.
that would be. I would prefer that too, but if you can't get that, give me a cameo!
Yeah, at least let me see them, yeah. No, I completely agree. I'd love to see it. I mean, it's just like in the comic books. You'll have characters just show up briefly for a moment, and it makes you kind of interested in that character and want to check out their other comics. Which would be the same thing for the movies.
Yes, I want to see them in this. And of course, now seeing Doctor Strange, when and how he appears in one of the other movies, it's going to be like, he's so much more powerful. He's so different from the current characters we have. To see him enter another movie is going to be really interesting.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And,
Tony Stark and him.
Let's just, they're definitely facial hair bros, man. They got it going on. But no, like, going to the after credit scene, you get to see Thor
briefly
popping up in there.
That's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah.
All we know, Loki is in New York.
Yeah, he said, Doctor Strange is like, I make it a point to know when powerful beings are in my, vicinity or whatever, and he's like, he doesn't like that Loki's on Earth, and he wants to know, how the hell can I get rid of him as soon as possible? And it's like, help us find Odin.
Help us find Odin, which, of course, from the last Thor movie, all we knew is that Loki was impersonating Odin.
Yeah.
So why is he still not impersonating Odin?
Yeah.
And are they? I don't know. There's some interesting questions.
There's a lot of things
We haven't seen anything about Thor since the last movie, and this changes what we last saw. Yeah. So why is things different?
Yeah. All I can say is I want to learn that magic trick for refilling my cup.
Oh, that was pretty interesting.
Instantly.
Very nice.
Thor is just drinking a giant thing of beer, because at first he gives him a tea, and he's like, I don't really drink tea, and then bam, giant beer right in his hand. He's like, downs it like instantly, and it's like, whoop! It even shows you it fill right back up.
Very nice.
That was so funny. Yeah, and
then of course, if we're one after credit scene, let's go to the ending after credit scene of good old Baron Mordo.
Yeah, because you find out in the movie that one character that Doctor Strange found out about where he needed to go to find the Ancient One and everything, that he didn't get healed, because that's what he had, a big spinal injury that made it to where he couldn't walk and everything, and he learned to be able to tap into the magical arts to make it to where he could will his body to move.
Yes.
And in which he was actually super powerful, and from what I understood in the movie, that he could actually do that, because it even seemed that Doctor Strange couldn't manage that, to make his hand stop shaking. It didn't seem like he made it to where he could.
They didn't go into it enough on that.
Well, they showed whenever the Ancient One had, because in the movie, the Ancient One dies.
Yes, and I mentioned that. Yeah, yes, she totally dies.
She dies, and it's brutal. It's like they're in the mirror world, because there's this mirror world that you can bring people into, where whatever you do there is not going to affect the world around you. And she ends up falling out of the mirror world into the real world, falls through a glass panel, hits the street from probably being up 100 feet in the air, just brutal.
Well, after she gets stabbed.
And then she's in the hospital, and there's this scene where Doctor Strange, she just wants to help her so much, and he picks up the blade because he knows what he needs to do to try to help her, but his hands are still shaking. Mm-hmm. He still can't control it, and he tries to get someone else to help her, and but no, it just, at that point he was really powerful, and he should have been able to manage to.
Well, also she could have taught this guy how to manage to do this.
Yeah.
Because he was useless otherwise. He had to be able to move himself.
Yeah. And once he managed to figure out how he could move his body, he was done with everything.
Yeah, he just went back to his normal life.
Yeah, he was very, I guess in that aspect, selfish. Which, I mean, really, Doctor Strange has selfish reasons for when he showed up. He just wanted to be able to...
But he changed.
Yeah. He changed as the movie went on. Progression.
But back to the ending credit scene.
Yes, ending credit scene. Yeah, go ahead, continue.
No, I said the ending credit scene where we obviously find that Baron is going to take a new approach and decide that there doesn't need to be a lot of sorcerers. There doesn't need to be a lot of magic, and he steals the magic from the guy.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I guess he figures that, like, with less sorcerers in the world, there's less people that could break the rules and
Yeah, I
and
guess
stuff
that's
like
his
that.
theory, but that means there's also less people who could protect it.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't need those people. All he needs is him.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see his motivations a little more in the next movie.
Because I knew from the comics that Baron Mordo was the villain of Doctor Strange in the comics.
I did not know this. So.
Yeah, but and I was waiting for something to show that, and whenever he found out that the Ancient One was tapping into this dark realm to use powers and stuff,
then Doctor Strange breaking all the rules and
Oh,
what
yeah.
he's supposed to do. He doesn't want a part of that type of sorcery.
And another cool thing, this movie really does show one of the more interesting ways of using the Infinity Gems. Yes, like the Time Gem is awesome in this movie. But yeah, I mean, it's very cool because, I mean, Marvel kind of, some of the gems haven't really been cool. I'll have to say definitely the Thor 2, the Ether, was kind of like, meh, whatever. I mean, even what is it? The one from Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't know what each of these gems were.
I don't know right now.
Yeah, right. I'm sure
this was clear as day. The Time Gem.
It was the Time Gem, yeah. And I think like the gem that was inside of Loki's staff, which is now in Vision's head. I think that's the Soul Gem. I think that's what that one is.
The issue is at some point, that's going to have to go missing from him, and the Time Gem is going to have to go missing.
Yeah.
And this is going to have relatively soon.
Yeah.
Because the Infinity Gauntlet's coming up.
Yeah. And I mean, we know that the Spider-Man standalone movie is probably not going to have anything to do with the gems.
No.
Not at all.
I think we've seen all the gems at this point.
Yeah.
And they just have to go missing.
Have we?
I think so.
Well, we've got.
I know there's
6 gems.
There's
altogether.
6 gems. There's one for each finger and the one in the middle of the hand.
Yeah. So we've had the Cosmic Cube. We've had the gem that was in Loki's staff. We've had the Ether. We've had the Time Gem. Yeah. So
we've had to see more than that. We've seen more than 4.
I don't know.
I have to go.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's another one.
Yeah. So we're missing one.
Are we?
I think so.
Which one was? No, that was the Guardians one. We might be missing one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have to look through all the movies again.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but
I think we are missing.
We might be missing one. We still have a couple movies to make something happen.
Oh yeah, we got Thor Ragnarok.
And this is also assuming that he has no gems.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He could easily already have a gem.
He could have a gem. That would make sense.
So
I don't already have one. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Where were we before we got to the gems?
I don't know. Well,
we went to the Time Gem.
We were talking about Baron Mordo. That he. Oh yeah, the guy. Excuse me. He seems to like take the power from him to make it to where he can't tap into the alternate dimensions and stuff, and he makes it to where he's a cripple again, and he can't use the magic, and he sucks it from him. I'm very interested to see how far they're going to go with this. Can he do that from everyone?
I don't know.
It makes me think of. I know you haven't seen this, but in Avatar: The Last Airbender, they can actually make it to where benders can't bend. They have, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It's kind of interesting.
Yes, the Time Gem I felt was. It was.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the.
Yeah, we were talking about Time Gem, and it just felt too powerful.
Oh, it was very powerful.
I mean, it is one of the Infinity Gems.
But they do mention that there are repercussions,
Yes.
which we don't see any.
Or he mentions those repercussions.
Yeah, he mentions it.
If there actually is.
Yeah.
But it just seems way too powerful because it solved all the problems at the end of the movie.
Oh, it did.
It
Yeah.
solved everything.
Yeah, he ended up basically blackmailing Dormammu because he got it stuck in a loop where Dormammu just kept killing him over and over and over again, but Dormammu could not escape this loop.
Dormammu's place where there is no time, he brought time and made it loop infinitely.
Yes, which was very infuriating for Dormammu.
I'm sure it was.
It was so cool.
You keep dying, but you keep coming back.
That's what we were saying. How they used the gem in this movie was a lot cooler. Because, like, in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like an all-powerful, just touch the Earth, and it's destroyed instantly. And it's like, the Cosmic Cube, they were trying to tap into it to bring the army from another place. And then, like, the Ether, I don't know what the heck the Ether was doing in that movie.
I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, it was... it was
very
rough.
cool. Him blackmailing Dormammu was really smart and cool.
Yes.
And to me, one of the coolest scenes in the entire movie was him rewinding Hong Kong getting rebuilt.
Oh.
As they were fighting forward, it was going backwards.
Yes.
And it was crazy.
This movie is just so visually amazing. It really is. Like, if you enjoyed Inception,
Yes.
and some of the things they did in Inception, just dial that up to like a 10.
Yes.
Like, it was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, and that's what a lot of people were comparing when they originally saw the first trailer, was, oh, they're just ripping off Inception. No.
It goes way beyond.
Way beyond Inception. There is no movie out there that I can think of that looks like this movie.
No, it does crazy things, but I love that scene more than anything. I thought it was the coolest scene in the whole movie. You just see everything getting rebuilt, and then you see them trying to still, they take themselves out of this rewinded loop and start actually fighting.
Yeah.
And as the world is reaction to getting rebuilt, it's building around them.
Yeah.
And he even traps the bad guy in a wall because he gets rebuilt on top of it.
Yes.
Like, it's just crazy things happen. It's so cool.
Oh, it is. It's phenomenal. I enjoyed it. It's one of the coolest action scenes. Like, really, this movie had amazing action in it.
It did.
Just like whenever the Ancient One is fighting people.
Oh no, she was amazing. Just period, hands
Yes.
down, she was amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, when we got to her death a few minutes ago, we didn't mention the amazing, absolutely just, she is dying.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of his body, his whatever.
Well, he notices that because whenever earlier in the fight, there's a fight scene where he was fighting someone in his astral form.
Astral form, yeah.
And they were, whenever they were fighting, it was kind of tampering with like the electrical equipment and stuff. And he notices that whenever the Ancient One's laying there getting ready to die. And he goes into his astral form because time is slower in the astral form.
It wasn't when he was fighting the other person.
It wasn't when he was fighting that, but I guess
think she did.
She can control.
She did this.
Yeah, because what is it? I know that in the mirror world, her and the bad guys had more control in that world because they were tapping into the darkness and stuff like that.
Very different.
Yeah.
But still, he sees her and her astral form leaving the room.
Yes, indeed.
And he follows her.
Popcorn over here.
And then we have this just few minutes of just very silent,
Very powerful.
very powerful emotional talk between him and her.
And it was beautiful.
And everything's super slowed down. It's just her trying to live this last moments of her life.
Yeah.
Slowed down. It's a very, very powerful, very cool scene.
Gets the waterworks going.
Yes.
Yeah.
You really feel bad for her.
Yeah. And it's just, it's so insightful, you know, and she even mentions how she's lived so long, but she's never truly accepted that she will die, you know, one time. And it's so, it's good.
It's a great scene in the moment. It was a great slowdown from everything that was happening.
And you it developed, it like pushes the story forward too. It's not just a moment to like get your heart going, but she even mentions to him, that, you know, Baron Mordo, he's very like stuck to the rules and everything, and he won't understand that sometimes you got to break the rules for the best of which she does. You got to break the rules sometimes for the better good.
Yes.
And
it advances the plot.
Yeah, it does. Like, and that was a good thing about this movie, is that, like, really there was no, like, pointless parts of it. That all of the parts of the movie helped further the story and helped to develop things. Like, maybe that one fight.
Well, think about that. Maybe that shows you what the Astral Form is.
Yeah.
And it does electronics.
And how it
Which
can
set that up.
Yeah, which was very interesting whenever he gets, like, shocked and
that was
sends
strange.
out a power in the astral world. I don't understand how that works, but I mean, he used it to his advantage.
The movie was really great, and I really enjoyed it. And it did feel unlike what was it, Jack Reacher that we watched. I was like, sweet Jesus, how long is this movie? I'm kind of bored. Versus this movie is like, it just went by, and I'm like, it's over. And like,
yeah,
it went by quick.
It did.
It was really good, really enjoyable.
I'll say I was smiling so much in that movie.
It was great. There were so many
my gosh.
great scenes and great things that happened. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, it was. I'd love to see it again.
Yeah, it's gonna have to happen again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see it again. Is there anything negative? I mean, can we come up with something negative? There's something that we did not like about the movie.
Something
because we haven't mentioned anything negative, and I don't know if there's anything we're gonna come up with right now. I'm sure.
I mean, we're in the moment right
we
now.
Are, but
we are.
Still, watching the movie was just like that one thing. Like, that didn't work. That wasn't perfect. I didn't. Like I said, the only time I just went a little further than I actually wanted it to go was the Astral Form fight.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange gets stabbed, he's in the hospital, and he's in his Astral Form trying to help her fix him.
Yeah.
And the other guy goes in his Astral Form after being attacked by the cape.
Yeah, the cape is so cool.
Which was great. And then they're fighting, and they're floating around the room like two ghosts. And I'm like, I didn't need this.
Yeah.
I could have been fine with him helping her fix him, and we moved on. It's the only thing I didn't need.
But even that was like, it was still kind of cool.
It was kind of cool, and it advanced as far as the Astral Form messing with electronics and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't need it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I kind of do like that they had it in there just so that they could show that you can be attacked in the Astral Form and that it has dire consequences to your regular
It still works.
Because, like,
there's still reasons for it. It's just a moment that I'd say it was my least favorite moment of a fantastic movie.
Yes, exactly. You know,
trying to find something negative about this movie, that's all I got.
Tough.
And it wasn't even negative, really.
It wasn't really. It's just like, me. They could have done a little better. No. But, you know, it's really... the only negative thing, I didn't understand the joke about Wong.
Well, see, I hadn't seen it. I also had no issue with this joke with Wong.
I didn't understand that joke. And this is so small. It's so small. I mean, it's hard to come up with something that I didn't like about the movie.
I think it had great humor.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I didn't mention humor at all, so I'm just throwing it out there. I thought the humor was great.
It's funny.
You're mentioning a joke that you didn't like.
Yeah, you know, the rest of it, the rest of the humor I felt like was very good. Gosh.
That's the issue, is like, I really don't have any problems with this movie.
Yeah.
I think, all in all, it was a very solid, very good movie.
Yeah.
That I just... Currently, right now, I may later come up like, or watching it a second time, something might fall a little flatter the second time through. But the first time through, it was fantastic. I really... Like I said, that one little tiny thing was the only thing I had any issue whatsoever. It was still interesting and fun, so...
Yeah, even like, they even changed greatly how Dormammu looked.
Yeah, he was still cool.
He was still cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's I think we've said about as much as we can say about the movie.
Yeah, there's really no negatives, more negatives I can think. There's it's just really a great movie. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I'd love to watch it again.
Yes, it needs to be seen again.
Yeah.
Just tack on something into this. We saw it again, and still fantastic.
Still so good. Yeah. Yeah. We went to go see it the next day. It was so good.
No. It was good. It was
Yeah.
great. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, go see
If
it.
you're a Marvel fan at all, it's gonna be great.
If you're just a fan of good movies.
Yeah, good movie. If you don't like, the only reason I would say not see it if you don't like magic.
Yeah.
But if you don't like magic, I don't even know why you're even watching this review.
I know, right? I mean,
That's what this is.
it's this review is magic.
It's very magic.
It's
It's a
so
magical
magical.
review.
I mean, it's so good. But yeah, go see it.
Yeah,
Go see it.
Totally.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So, hope you enjoyed our review of Doctor Strange. All the good stuff. All the good
Yes.
stuff. So, you can reach me at BJJ Gamer.
You can reach me at Random Robbie-san.
Till next time.
Have a magical time.
And be well.